Hi everyone, this is daveac and this is my vblog 189 for Friday the 2nd of March 2012, and the strap line for today is it's all colours, fruits and numbers swallowed down by a glass of wine, all in under 15 minutes, and of course wine at the end. Well, I've got no Doctor Who news today. Well, except that just earlier, before I did this, I was watching on BBC Three. I was watching the Lazarus Experiment, and I actually quite enjoyed it. And I seem to remember I actually thought it was quite a good episode, other than the CGI monster. I really do think that they went totally overboard with that CGI monster. But Mark Gatiss is great in the part. Although the other thing that I had a slight issue with it, they showed him as an extremely old man, and then he announces his age as being 76. The makeup made him look more like 86 and 96, so I was a little bit thrown by that, but nonetheless quite enjoyed it. Tomorrow, I think, on BBC Three they will be doing the episode 42, which I did enjoy when that aired. Certainly thought it was better than that film Sunshine. But that is about all the Doctor Who stuff I've got to mention, and I haven't got anything to say about Podshop today. The latest episode that's out is episode 266. But the Cult and Collective, always lots to say about that. Yes, the one I do with Ian the Sixth Doctor, and on commentaries Mike Mandel Thor. Well, last Sunday we did our episode, our delayed episode, about Cultdom's picks for the Oscars 2012. We actually did them the day of the Oscars on the 26th of February, about 5 or 6 hours before the Oscars themselves went ahead. So please give that a listen as we talk about some of our thoughts about the films that were picked and the actors and actresses that were picked, and our hopes for certain ones to get awards, and some of our predictions towards the end. You can find that, of course, on our TalkShoe page, 54821, on our cultdom.com blog site, or indeed on our Cultdom Collective Facebook page, or indeed, why not, subscribe to us on iTunes. We put up another of our commentaries. Remember, we're doing Life on Mars. This is the UK series. We're almost at the end now of series 2. Yes, it was the penultimate episode, episode 7, that went up yesterday. That's with Ian, Mike and myself doing the commentary. We've only got one more, episode 8, the final episode. There were only 2 series of Life on Mars made. And of course that was followed by, some would say the equally successful, but certainly successful, Ashes to Ashes. Now, whether we'll go straight on to do commentaries about those, I'll do other things first. I'm not entirely sure. That will be a decision we'll be making probably this weekend. And remember, of course, all our commentaries you can also find at zarban.com. Okay, this coming Sunday, which is Sunday the 4th of March, will be our 140th live episode, but in actual fact, episode 265. Yes, there have been lots of numbers, you know, and that is top 100 sci-fi books. There's another number. Yes, we're going to a list. Now, it's a long URL to read out, so I'm going to suggest you put this into Google, and this is words with dashes in between the words. So it's your dash. So it's your picks top 100 science fiction fantasy books. Brilliant list, I think. And Ian, Mike and myself, who were looking it over, liked it pretty much. But what do you think? What do the collective think? We will find out at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on TalkShoe ID 54821. You will find out then if you're live with us, or you'll find out later if you listen to and download the recording at a later date. Excuse me one moment. So, hope you'll enjoy that. Now, the other stuff I've got is just a little bit of tech and science news, and then I've got a Blu-ray I want to talk about briefly before we get to the wine, and I definitely want to keep under that YouTube 15 minutes limit that has been recently reimposed on me. Annoying that is. Well, of course, the tech news, big tech news is, believed to be the big tech news is, very, very strong rumours that the announcement on the 7th of March by Apple will be to announce the iPad 3. There's also a possibility of being announcing new stuff about the Apple TV, but the main focus of people's interest, I think, is on the iPhone iPad 3, sorry, talking about it's likely to have the better improved display, possibly 4 times the resolution. Back to numbers, a resolution of 2048 by 1536. That's the pixels are 4 times smaller, so it should really look good. Don't know if there's going to be any change to the cameras. Don't know if there's going to be any change to the weight or the battery length or whatever. But that should be announced. And usually they've gone on sale not that long after that information has gone out. And the other big question mark is over the actual chip that powers it. Still likely to be the A6 chip, but will it be a quad-core chip or the dual-core as it currently is, but maybe at a faster speed? You'll not have to wait long to find out. 7th of March. Of course, here in the UK, the little new computer Raspberry Pi, yeah, we've got fruit in this podcast, this vlog as well, is now got, it's gone public. There's already a waiting list for it. The price very slightly higher than they originally said, £22, that's $35, but a cheaper £16, $25 version will go on sale later in the year. They're hoping that every young person in the UK will be able to have one of these. It's going to be, the board they've showed working on the BBC site is probably going to be enclosed in some sort of see-through box so you can see the innards. It can connect to a high-definition display through HDMI. It can also connect via VGA to an old analog display, and there are a couple of USB sockets for connecting a keyboard and mouse. And it's going to be running a version of Linux. So, very interesting. I may even think about ordering one myself. I don't know. The other tech news, and there's one little bit of science news, but I really know I'm up against it for time. So let me just mention this one because this is something that's coming out of Italy. Twisted waves could boost capacity of Wi-Fi and TV. Now, one of the things about that that's interesting is the fact that here in the UK, they're committed, the government are committed to try and make 20 megabyte download speeds, the norm across the UK, with an absolute minimum of 2 megabytes. But the areas where that's going to be the most difficult are out in the country and sparsely populated area. And one of the best ways of delivering broadband to them is via Wi-Fi. But we have to get as much capacity out of it as possible. Well, this technique is called orbital angular momentum of the waves, and it imparts them with a twist. This varying twist permits many data streams to fit in the frequency spread currently used for just one, so presumably making for much more data efficiency on that. Don't know how long it will take to come out, but it is an exciting piece of news that's only just gone up on the bbc.co.uk/news science and environment section of their news. Do have a look. And one other thing, I've been watching and reading quite a bit about space since we did Perry G's episode on the Cult Collective. And I've just read this one. I'm just going to mention it very briefly, again, on the BBC News Science and Environment. Oxygen envelops Saturn's icy moon. The Cassini spacecraft that flew shows a picture of it, the Dione, nearly 2 years ago, and NASA's spacecraft has detected oxygen around one of Saturn's icy moons, Dione. This discovery supports the theory that suggests that all moons near Saturn and Jupiter might have oxygen around them. Really great stuff. Right, how are we doing for time? Time to go on. Well, Blu-ray. I've just watched last night this Green Lantern Blu-ray extended cut. Ryan Reynolds playing Hal Jordan, the Earth's Green Lantern. It's not a triple play, but you can see it has the extended cut. In fact, it has the theatrical version and the extended cut. I watched the extended cut last night, and I wasn't expecting too much because I hadn't heard particularly brilliant things about Green Lantern, but I quite enjoyed it. It was a little bit stiff, a little bit wooden, but it was certainly watched. I think I'm glad I watched it on Blu-ray. I didn't go to the theatre to watch it. I might have been disappointed with that. And maybe, of course, I watched the extended version. Maybe that was better than the theatrical one. I'll try and watch that sometime soon. Now, this is the second time I'm doing my vlog, because the first time I had my iPad and I was playing it up, but all you were getting, can you see that, is the reflection of the background. So I'll just play a few seconds of it, but really, this is from YouTube. Go and watch the official trailer yourselves. Here's a little bit of it. See, it's reflecting, I'm sorry.
How wonderful. It shows you its power.
And I'm going to stop it. Here, the power's gone. It's obviously too much reflection there. So what I'm going to say is, if you haven't seen the Green Lantern, just not too spoilery that trailer. Go and watch it on YouTube, and then decide. I think it's quite a reasonable price. I got it as a Christmas present along with another Blu-ray, but I think it has been reduced since then. So give it a go. Oh, there was one more tech news. I think I've just got time to mention it. Of course, there's now a public beta of Windows version 8. Use this new sliding boxes thing. I don't like the look of it. I've seen some of the trailers. And the one thing to point out is that, for as far as I can see, Windows 8 only is going to really work. Always is only going to really work if you have a touch-sensitive screen. But I believe that you can default back to a standard-looking Windows system on a desktop machine. And the latest news I read very quickly is that there actually might be as many as, what is it? 9, was it? 8. It might come in 9 different versions. Yeah, I said it was about lots of numbers today. Enterprise Edition, Home Basic, Home, ARM Edition, Professional Plus, Starter, Ultimate. 9 in all. So, let's see how that goes. Okay, let's get to the wine. And I may have to cut off pretty quick. Zalzi, I think that is. It's South African wine. Freeze frame it. Those grapes, Shiraz, Mordeverni, I can never pronounce it, and Voniga is it, 2010. Again, let's go in close. Freeze frame. It's 14.5%, by the way. It was reduced to about £6. That's $10. I think it's normally dearer than that. And I've got not such a promising smell coming off this. It's supposed to be fruit, but I'm getting a rather musty, slightly muddled sense of smell, I'm afraid, for this one. So let's have a little taste. Now, with having Shiraz in it and the others in it, I wasn't expecting it to be quite so tart as that. It is a little bit tart, but there's some nice tannins coming through. I'm not getting maybe a little perfume, a little floral on the nose, but it's actually quite dry and quite tart, but it has got a nice finish. I've got a feeling that this is still a little bit cold. It came out of the pantry only about half an hour, 30 minutes ago, and it's still not fully opened up. Let's have another taste. Nice, but just a little tart. We'll see how that goes later in the evening. It should be just right for Mike's Friday night quiz on Radio Free Camelin later tonight. So I've got to run because I've got to stop before that 15-minute magic moment when YouTube doesn't let me put it up. Bye all. Thanks for watching.